The Synod of Elvira could be seen as early Christianity's equivalent of hard mode. While many councils wrestled with theological issues like who is Jesus, Elvira took a hardline approach, focusing entirely on behavior. Its decisions became notorious for their uncompromising strictness. Some of the most notable and severe rules included Canon 5, the 3-day rule for slave deaths. This rule addressed grim specifics, likely reflecting real cases the Church had encountered. If a woman struck her female slave in anger and the slave died within 3 days, she faced 7 years of penance. If the slave survived beyond 3 days before dying, the penance was reduced to 5 years, as the act was deemed less intentional. Penance during this era was a prolonged process of reintegration into the community after being cast out. The primary punishment involved exclusion from the Holy Eucharist, effectively severing spiritual communion with the body of Christ. Penitents were often confined to designated areas in the church and barred from the full liturgy, sometimes required to leave after the sermon. Public humiliation could also be part of the process, including wearing sackcloth, shaving one's head, for men, and abstaining from bathing, marital relations, and other comforts. Canon 18. Adulterous clergy barred permanently from the Eucharist. Clergy members who committed adultery faced lifelong exclusion from the Eucharist, even if they were repentant. While lay people could eventually return after years of penance, priests, bishops, and deacons were permanently barred, even on their deathbeds. Canon 36. Ban on religious art in churches. The Synod of Elvira prohibited religious imagery of any kind within the 4 walls of the church. Leaders feared that visual depictions of sacred figures could lead to idolatry, making this one of the earliest documented examples of iconoclasm. Canon 60. Idol smashers denied martyrdom. Destroying pagan idols might seem like something Elvira would commend given Canon 36, but this was not the case. If someone destroyed a pagan idol and was killed for it, they were not considered a martyr. The rationale? Such acts were viewed as reckless provocation rather than gospel-driven expressions of faith. Canon 67. Restrictions on hairdressers and long-haired men. Baptized women were forbidden from associating with men who either had long hair or worked as hairdressers. Check the comments for more on this one. Canon 81. Letters required husband's permission. Married women could neither send nor receive letters without their husband's explicit approval. Canon 33. Perhaps the most significant ruling of Elvira was the mandate for clerical celibacy, applying to all clergy in certain parts of Spain. Married clergy in regions under Elvira's rulings were required to abstain from sexual relations with their wives, forever, and stop having children. Failure to comply meant losing their church office. The justification drew from Old Testament practices, where priests abstained from sexual relations during their time of service in the tabernacle or temple to maintain ritual purity. As the early church transitioned to celebrating the Eucharist daily rather than weekly, they applied the same reasoning. If Jewish priests abstained while serving at the altar for a week, and we serve at the altar every single day, we must abstain every single day as well. This evolution from periodic to perpetual abstinence laid the groundwork for the tradition of priestly celibacy in the Western Church. But didn't this ruling directly contradict the Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians 7, 1-5?
Yup!
One last thing. Bishop Hosius of Cordoba, who played a key role in shaping the rigorous canons at the Council of Elvira, later presided over the Council of Nicaea. Yeah, that Council of Nicaea. And he attempted to bring some of the same rulings to bear on the universal church. During Nicaea, he and other leaders pushed hard for universal clerical celibacy, but faced opposition from the Egyptian confessor Paphnutius, who rejected the idea as an unnecessary burden and defended the honor of marriage. My next video will explore that incident in detail, and that video will kick off a broader series which will be announced soon. If you like this type of content, even when I run out of AI credits halfway through, give this video a big thumbs up. Also hit subscribe so you can see when my next video drops. With that, we'll see you next time on Macro Future.